So you know me there and me I reminisce and me I remember back in the days, right? When me live a entrepreneur and I used to thief light. And then people used to make you feel bad for thief light and them look something there. Now me live at Portmore and me I pay light bill. And me seriously see why me used to thief light. Cause JPS are the thief in this thing and they want to criticize and chastise and prosecute people for thief light. Them a thief it but them a do it in a legal way. JPS Uno is very thief. Uno is very thief. Uno the thief in this thing pan God earth. You see, Uno the politician them a top tier in a thiefing and then Uno want come class people for thief. No, Uno not for doing thief and thief God laugh. Allow the people them for thief because Uno a thief just as much. You hear me? I tell Uno better.
Up to $63,000. So me decide say, well, me not pay the bill, yeah. So me say, alright, me not pay the bill there. Anyway.
Okay, boom, viewers, welcome back to the channel. Subscribers, you already know the thing set. We are blessed. And you also know the story ain't complete if King Mix Up ain't on the beat. And as you can see, from 20 or long, from Vibes Cartel called JPS Jamaica, you know what service. No, we see people still are complaining. And I keep on telling you, you're going to keep on complaining because JPS don't care. Because when I talk about monopoly, people think it's board games I'm talking about. And I'm talking about antitrust laws, something that America is very adamant about. Mr. Miles, and you see them going after Google and all of these things, you cite. But I found an article from the Gleaner when, you know, Jamaica wanted to break away from JPS, but JPS said, no, and I can't do that because when we bought the license to operate in Jamaica, we bought it, you know, as an exclusive right. He said, and in order for them to be bought out, we have to buy the shares, you feel me? And it's going to take a whole lot to do that because we only own 20% and them own 80%. You see the undermining thing, but I'm not going to go deep into that and you can read the articles for itself. Let's proceed to the next. Now here's the bagger with Apple and Want here, because you know that they're back. Yes, yesterday we let the world know that, you know, Jay got bailed. You see what I said? Because he's $1 million man. You feel me? That's what he posted up on his IG story. As you can see, the people them is very alert now that he's back on the scene. You see what I said? But that sender sent me a DM saying that this is what he posted 2 days before he got arrested. And, you know, they found a wallet in our Batty hole. You see what I said? I guess he was, you know, begging, you know, Biden them to stay in the country for the immigrants them. So it said something like this. Message to our sitting President Joe Biden. The incoming administration is planning on giving, you know, immigrants a very hard time. So I'm begging for one request that at least give those with pending, you know, applications in the system and an approval, which would, you know, at least give them something to fight back. And don't leave the country empty-handed. You see, I say, thanks in advance, Mr. President / Madam Vice President, you say. Now, people, keep in mind, court documents did reveal they were indeed sharpened while they was black. And, you know, racially profiled. This man said that's why the employees them set off the alarm. You know what I mean? Because them never get catch with nothing. They wasn't seen on camera at that given moment. This man said. So I think they have a lawsuit against Lululemon, like $100 million US lawsuit against them, and a $50 million US lawsuit against the news, you know, that put them out as suspects. And never put out that Lululemon, you know, RP them, you see me? But I'm just giving them quick update while going for not to go on. Do you think Donald Trump is going to look out for them? Because I don't think Apple have them papers, you know. That's why Jay, I said them thing, yeah, you see me? So let's proceed to the next. And now back to business if you want to make money. Because here is another way they are undermining you people in Jamaica, especially the lower class. I explained to you about JPS. Now Lisa Hanna is going to explain how NHT I deal with them. Just some people. She talks a good game. It's factual. But as you can see on the picture, these people talk a good game. You know what I mean? We see what's happening. You see me? But let's hear what I go on for not to go on and we'll proceed at the end.
So have you ever paid for something and then when you get home, you remember that you left it at the store? And then when you think, you know, let me go back and pick it up, you're like, boy, it's just so far away and I can't be bothered. Well, that's how most Jamaicans feel every month after they pay their National Housing Trust, knowing full well that they're paying for this thing, but that the opportunity or even trying to access a loan from the NHT or even an NHT home is they just can't be bothered, because by the time they overcome certainly all the hurdles to get something from the NHT, them both broke and them tired. So earlier this year, I wrote an article on the National Housing Trust entitled Building Cash, Not Housing, which discussed the basis of the NHT's inadequate performance. Yeah, inadequate, and I'm going to step on some corns here, but it's fine. So simply put, the mandate of the National Housing Trust was established in 1976, and it was a brilliant idea by then Prime Minister Michael Manley to provide affordable housing to most of our populace. And funding this entity came from a 2% tax from Jamaican employees and a 3% tax from every Jamaican employer. But nearly 50 years later, the data that I've looked through suggests that the NHT has been quite inefficient and ineffective in delivering its mandate. And I want you to stay with me because I'm going to quote some statistics and you need to just pay attention. Now, according to the Ministry of Finance and Planning, for the financial year ending 2024, the NHT collected in income Jamaican $43 billion in income. Yeah, that's what it collected in income. And here's what they spent in their operating expenses. They spent close to $13 billion, actually $12.946 billion in operating the entity. Now, these figures are shocking, and when I saw them, it blew my mind, as the average number of housing completions by the National Housing Trust from 2018 to 2022 is only 2,157 per annum, annually. And you can check the Economic and Social Survey of Jamaica for 2022 to see some of those stats further. Included in these figures that I looked at, the housing, NHT says, yeah, it does some housing completions, and those were what they did in 2022. But they do other things like build on your own land, lot solutions they talk about, guaranteed purchase programs. They do individual loan solutions, they do joint ventures, and they do NHT project solutions. But what is clear is that not all of these solutions stated by them are actually livable, finished dwellings. Moreover, based on the administrative costs, you see, when a homeowner even gets a mortgage loan of approximately $12 million from the NHT, half of the money comprises the organization administrative costs. That's about 50% of that money when you aggregate everything. Now, when you look at the NHT's accounts, they generated a surplus of $21.8 billion for the financial year 2023-2024. Now, with an employed labor force in Jamaica of about 1.27 million people, the NHT is delivering less than 0.18% of houses or housing completions for our working population. 0.18% of houses or housing completions. So the truth is, instead of building houses for our people, the NHT is actually taking a percentage of workers' and employers' salaries to build cash in the bank. And this approach by the NHT is untenable and contrary to its original mission. Yet each year, they embark on what I call a promotional display of misinformation, because they reported to Parliament earlier this year that they intend to start about 15,000 new housing solutions for this financial year. And when I heard it, when I read it, I said, this must be imagined. Because in the same report that they say this, they reported that they delivered only 1,627 solutions for 2023, and they've never exceeded 2,700 solutions annually since 2018. And go and check the Jamaica Public Bodies report of 2024 to 2025 to see that information. And I should also mention that these small, unimpressive deliverable statistics come with NHT executives making substantial salaries. Over 13 of their executives are earning above $16 million in annual salaries. The managing director is earning $34.2 million. The finance director, $22 million. The construction and development director, $21.6 million. The corporate services person is earning $22.1 million. The SGM customer relations person is $22.79 million. And the GM for the company secretariat is $19.4 million. And you can just pull up the National Housing Trust 2023 annual report to look at those salary structures. So the executive salaries alone by these executives represent over 122,000 per unit they delivered on average from 2018 to 2022, and over 161,000 per unit for the 1,627 they reported to deliver in the last financial year. Now, it blows my mind because I say, well, other countries, their national social housing programs actually, give their people houses. And it's a far more effective program that they have. And I know people don't like when you use Singapore as a basis point for judging Jamaica, but let me use them, and here's why. They have a vision because they say owning a home is a public housing is a right for every one of their citizens. It's enshrined in their policy. And so for their population of 5.6 million in Singapore, their social housing has delivered over 1 million units spread across close to 25 towns and 3 estates, giving a home to over 80% of Singapore's resident population. Because their government says, look, we have a mandate because it is a right of their citizens to own somewhere and to have a roof over their head. And it is their mandate in to provide housing. And they look at the whole spectrum of needs for the optimal living of their citizen, including the environment, including the continual process to create an innovative and sustainable community or communities. And it's an ongoing process for them. And, when I looked at the public housing board reports of Singapore, I want us to start paying attention this way, right? Because nothing creates more value in an economy than agriculture and construction. And this is what I believe. So in addition to providing much needed housing and improving the dignity of home ownerships, it would grow the economy and give all Jamaicans a sense of peace. Because guess what? You see, when a Jamaican owns somewhere, they can pass it down to the generations coming behind them. There's nothing better than someone knowing and having peace of mind that they have a roof over their head, that they can turn their own key because they own it. And let me tell you something. It is your mandate to make sure that every single Jamaican who pays their National Housing Trust actually has somewhere. You should be out there tapping into every Jamaican and saying, come and let me show you how you can own somewhere. That's your mandate, NHT. That's what we pay you to do. That is why it is young people who are trying to own a home, domestic helpers who throw them little money once a week, right? Their employees might not pay for it for them, but they do it. And them can't own somewhere in this day and age. And you have all of these special programs. I've met too many people who tell me all the different things that they have to go through. You shouldn't be operating like a commercial bank. That's not your mandate. Your mandate is a national social housing program, but you've lost the way. And so I'm hoping that you will find, the NHT will find this moment to start listening again, acting with courage to do things differently. And if you want to go back and read some of the articles that I've written on housing and given solutions, do that. You can click the link. I've been writing them for over 3 years. But I want the NHT to hear what I'm saying. Because the time is now. You have too many Jamaicans that are there that cannot afford homes. And it is your mandate, not private contractors. It is your mandate to make sure that they can own a home. That's what you were established to do in 1976. And so I look forward to more housing completions by you, not starts, for this financial year.
As I said, I'm talk a good game, but what is their real aim? You know what I mean? To be prime minister one day. Because we know say for our husband, our boyfriend, whatever, them do the pinnacle long and take from the first raster. 5,000 acres. It's him as with him control the Burger King them and the Krispy Kreme them. Giving the man them in the street who sell the the orange and red jelly them. It's him as donut them. But I don't want to long out this no longer. I'm just giving them quick update and the day, your site. But let's